The air was cold, so cold. I felt my lips quiver and my heart palpitating. My head was spinning as vertigo had set in. My body felt paralyzed. I couldn't move a muscle. My vision blurred as my sight cut in and out, ever so slowly fading. Hearing started to grow dim. Each sound as it vibrated through the air into my eardrums were faint. Facing reality, I knew it was happening. I was dying. I saw my life in flash bulbs of visions coursing in my mind at an inhumane rate, faster than I could process each memory in minute detail. I only had minutes left and I knew that I would stop breathing. Dying feels like drowning, being suspended in time and seeing things that could never make sense in life. Seeing beyond the veil. This is the day that every skepticism I had about heaven, hell, purgatory, and beyond were all very real. Some may be wondering how I died, and yet, how am I writing this today? Well, the answer is neither simple nor complicated, but to give you the full picture, we're going to have to go back in time. My name is Sabrina and I'm 22 years old. And I live in what you may say is a rather dangerous part of New York City. One night my boyfriend and I had just had a huge fight, and in the heat of all the yelling, he shut me up by kissing me passionately, quickly stripping me in my clothes, holding me down by my wrists, and fucked me for the best part of the night. Hate sex during a fight seemed to, in a weird way, really get me off. Soon thereafter, I had kicked my boyfriend out for the night. I by no means was holding a grudge. A quick hate fuck seemed to be just what I needed at the time, but I just really wanted to be alone tonight. I got a phone call from Chelsea, one of my girlfriends that I smoke hookah with and go drink at the bars with on days I'm not at work. I admit I was a party girl. I lived for the wild side, and well, it was all I knew. She asked me to come over for the night. She had just broken up with her boyfriend and didn't want to be alone, so she invited me over. Taking a deep sigh, thinking why the fuck is it when I just want to be left the hell alone, I always feel obligated to do something for others. Reluctantly, I accepted. I went out to the garage to my car, and upon getting in, I noticed my sunglasses storage compartment was wide open. I know for a fact I had closed it the last time I had driven. So I just shrug it off to being all in my imagination and that I'm just being paranoid. Put the key in the ignition, turning it to start the engine. The car roared and putted, but didn't start. I continued this process several times, and to my dismay, no result. Shit, just my fucking luck. Ugh. I walked out of the car, popped the hood open, checking for any damages to my engine. None in sight. Back to the driver's seat and look down underneath my seat, near my pedals, to find something I just did not want to see. My fuses had all been ripped out. My wires, the circuit through my ignition, to my engine were all cut. Upon my discovery of this, I received a phone call. Alarmed and jumping from the unexpected loud ringtone. It was restricted, but yet I was so curious. I couldn't hold back my curiosity, so I hesitated, and then answered in a soft, timid, whispered tone. I answered, "Hello?" A deep, raspy voice replied,
"Hi there, is this Sabrina? I know you don't know me, but I've seen you around town, and even around your house. I have to admit I am a little jealous. You know one thing I don't like though, Sabrina, is that piece of shit boyfriend I always see you around with. However, I did meet him tonight. Turns out, he's not so bad. Ha 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 ha! He's a fucking bleeder though, when I ran my knife against his throat."
I was speechless and scared. I couldn't move. I felt so uneasy even being in my car. I couldn't sound alarmed or panicked. If this was a joke, I couldn't show any sign of fear. You're a sick fuck, Jason. Why would you even say things like that? That's not funny at all. The whole time, all I heard was a grotesque, deep, raspy breathing, as if he had some sort of lung disease.
You're such a stupid little whore, aren't you? You're pretty, though. I think I might just need a taste for myself before I put a knife through your lungs.
Fuck you! I hung up hurriedly, running to my house, locking the doors, running around my house, wildly checking all the windows, and grabbing my gun out of the trust fund safe that my dad had left for me. I quickly reached in my pocket for my phone, and to my stark and utter horror realized it was nowhere in my pockets at all. Instead, I had left it in the car where he had first called. I ran to the door that separates my house from the garage to get to my car to the phone, and upon opening the door and turning on the lights, running to the vehicle, I saw something I didn't see before. I wanted to vomit. I wanted to die in that instance. What I just saw tore my heart from my chest. There, in the backseat of my car, lay my boyfriend, dead. His throat gaping wide open, blood still seeping through his neck. I covered my mouth in fear as I opened the driver door looking for my phone. It was gone. Nobody found. I ran from the garage, back inside, locking the door behind me. My voice grew panicked, and my breathing was rapid. My heart was racing out of my chest. I ran to my bathroom, locking the door. My gun pointed at the door. I was crying, my vision so blurred. I was hysterical, and even starting to lose hope. I felt violated. That I had been stalked? So many questions unanswered. How long has the psycho been watching me? Was he here when my boyfriend and I were having sex? Has he watched me sleep? Who is he? I was mortified. The thought of being raped repeatedly and killed violently, and everything else is left to the imagination of my killer. I heard knocking on the bathroom door. The knocking turned to banging. The banging turned to pounding. I felt like this was the end for me. So in a desperate attempt to deter away the assailant, I pulled the trigger of my dad's .45. All that led to was all the hope I had left dissipating before my eyes. In one final thrash of the door, my life flashed before my eyes, and before I could even see his face, make out his features, I felt a burning, piercing pain in my stomach, sharp and metallic. He pulled the knife in and out and stabbed me repeatedly, and each time the pain more and more excruciating, and this was it. This was the end of my life. Before I had even had a chance to really experience the fullness of life, I fell to my knees and felt my face smash to the floor as I dropped, feeling the blood leak heavily out of my body. As reality started fading away, I saw a gate of brimstone. A man came walking toward me as if this were a lucid dream. Dressed in classy fashion, he ran his hands through his hair, and as he proceeded to grab my hand and kiss it, he said,
"Welcome, my dear. How untimely it is of you to join us so soon. I, my dear, am nothing more than nomad. I'm always looking for a place to call home. I'm a drifter. Of sorts, you see. I can give you, my lady, another chance at life. But the wager is simple, darling. All I ask is you welcome me into your soul, and I will be, let's be cliche for a moment. I'll be the devil on your shoulders. I will be your better judgment, my dear new friend. Nothing more. You will go back to your normal life, full of all the normalities life has to offer. The only price is that when you die, you won't be able to go to heaven or hell. You will stay among the living for eternity. If you feel like that may be a fair trade to spend your immortality, by all means, I can even deal with that pest hovering over your corpse right now, doing Lord knows what.
Without much thought, I shook his hand and accepted. Within moments, I awoke, taking a deep breath, feeling my entire being turn to hatred. I was no longer in control of my body. I reached up to the back of his head and forced it down on top of me as I grabbed the knife from next to me and plunged the knife into his chest with force beyond my own strength. It had worked. We had killed him, me and the man with no name. To be blunt, I met in hell. I saw my fate and accepted it for it was. I was no saint, and clearly heaven was far from my path. When I regained control of my body again and eventually my life, I could never shake the deeper satisfaction of what it felt like to be in control. To have the heart to kill and feel victorious, to feel the edge and the power of God resting on my shoulder, that I, a 22-year-old wild side-living girl from New York, would later become known as the most world-renowned stalker and serial killer. I'm writing this today to tell you my story, and whether or not you believe me, know that you don't have to. But I am out there, and if our paths cross, you will believe.